guys, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Alexa, what's the time please?
The time is 8:16 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
Today is Thursday the 23rd of June.
And Alexa, the weather? Alexa, the weather?
Currently, in Rochester, 16 degrees Celsius with showers.
Yes.
You can expect more of the same today, with a high of 24 degrees and a low of 13 degrees.
Yes, it's still warm, but we've had rain here in Rochester, so there's rain on the ground. I don't know if it's still raining at the moment. I should just take a look. Yes, it's raining. It's not coming down heavily. It is raining. Alexa, a joke.
What do penguins wear on their heads? Ice caps.
And Alexa, the thought of the day. Alexa, the thought of today.
Here's something I found on the web. According to localpros.com, the thought for today is gratitude.
Right guys, so my mum was going on about Alexa, talking to Alexa all day. I don't talk to Alexa all day.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
I just ask Alexa the time, the temperature, and the Alexa app plays music. It plays songs I've never heard of before, and it entertains me. And yes, I suppose to some people that are on their own, Alexa is like an automaton, a robot, and she answers back. So if you talk to her, she answers back. So I suppose, in the future, you never know, when people are extremely lonely or on their own, they'll have robots to talk to. People that aren't real, Robots, they're not people, are they? They're imitations, they're machines. I'd rather speak to a human being, to be honest, than Alexa anyway. So, we started off talking to my mum in the morning, and I did air my feelings, and I said that, yes, I do like coming up to see you, Mum. I do like talking to you 3 times a day, Mum, but I would like some real company. Real, as in physical company, with a real person. So, of course, after the phone call, I came home. There were couples holding hands and people looking like they was trying to get away from me, right? There were skinny women walking with their chaps, and I just felt horrible. So I came home, and I wasn't going to go around to see my mum because I could sit for hours in my flat and do the same thing. But I decided to go up to my mum. She rang again. There was BT men up the road, down holes. I'd had messages on Gmail that I told you about. So there was about 4 or 5, men going up and down the road with wires for BT, British Telecom. And I felt uneasy because the company I want is a relationship. It's not one-off sex, it's not NSA sex, and I never have been and never will be a prostitute, a hoe. I know Carl Herbert at Lansdowne Court. He was my on-off boyfriend for a couple of years, and that's what he was, an on-off boyfriend. Nothing more, nothing less, right? I'm not looking for one-night stands or being used for sex, and I've made it plainly clear, and that's what I'm sticking to, right? So I saw all those men outside, and I didn't feel very nice. So I've been a battered woman, a woman that's been sexually abused, and when there's like 5 or 6, men going up and down the road. I'm by myself. I've got no one to support me, no one to walk down the road with. And, you know, a woman that's been abused and sexually assaulted can feel quite scared when she's surrounded by builders and men and strangers that she doesn't know. So my mum rang back again. I'd had a shower. I'd got into the shower. I'd had a shower. I felt lovely, clean and fresh. And my mum rang again, and I thought, yeah, I will. I'll go up to my mum's. And you know I've had problems with the taxis. So my mum arranged for a taxi. She said it's on its way. Got hold of Max, got my bag of washing because my washing machine is broken. And a taxi arrived right outside these flats. And I got in it, a white taxi. Took me up to my mum's with no problems. He didn't say one word to me from start to finish. The taxi driver never spoke one word. Never uttered one word. He spoke to my mum. He had a bit of a conversation with my mum when she paid him at Durrell Gardens, but he never spoke one word to me. Not hello, goodbye, where are you going? Nothing. Didn't say one word. Got into my mum's flat, sat down, and I was feeling great. You know, I'm not ecstatic, no one speaks to me, I'm some kind of disease. That's what I feel like. And I went out into my mum's back part of her garden after my mum had opened the French windows, and Max ran out. He ran out. And it was an accident. He ran out because my mum had opened the French windows. Max ran out, and my mum's neighbour looked at me as if I was some kind of wild animal. So Max went up to their dog, and the guy looked at me, stared at me right in the eyes with his blue eyes, bright blue eyes, stared at me, took hold of his dog and turned his back on me and never spoke. I was about to say, sorry, the dog's just got out of the French windows, I'm sorry about that. And he just stared at me in the eyes, turned round and completely ignored me. What can you do? What can you do? When people treat you like that, what can you do? When people say to me, why don't you go out and meet people, that's how I get treated. Came back indoors and it had spoilt everything. It had spoilt everything. I'm a very sensitive person. I just didn't deserve that. So what I did was I sat outside my mum's French windows and led in the sun for an hour with Max. My mum was indoors with her rose top and her jeans that were turned up at the bottom. I had my shorts on, and a woman should be able to wear shorts. The guy that stared me in the face was wearing shorts the other day. What's wrong with a woman wearing shorts? So I just felt horrible all day. That had spoilt the day for me. Because I'm a sensitive, nice person, and when someone looks at you as if you're a pile of shit and go home, and that's what the look that I was given gave me, you're a pile of shit, go home, I managed to stay there. My mum sat away from me at the kitchen table. It was like I got up there, but they wanted me to go home. So what was the point of getting me up there for? She sat at the table. She went, there's no reason I'm sitting away from you, Janessa. I usually sit at the table. So she sat miles away from me. The telly was on. Prince William was on the television, unveiling the statue with Kate Middleton. So the news was on, and I was staring at Prince William on the TV set with Kate Middleton in. I managed to stay, even though I felt like going back home again. I continued to stay. My mum told me that she was going through one of my dad's pensions, but he owes money to it and she's going to have to pay it back. She said any money that is discovered, my dad had my granddad Frank had a family. My father Frank Trower had a separate family. My dad had step brothers, because my granddad had been married before, and my dad had step brothers. So my mum told me that any money that was in my dad's estate, the step brothers are entitled to it. So my dad had step brothers. His brothers are dead, but there are step brothers hanging about. She asked me if I wanted to meet them. I said, no, I don't want to meet them. I mean, nobody is bothered with me. I don't see my mum's sister. I don't see my mum's brothers. I've not seen any of my mum's family for years. I only knew my nan and granddad. I never knew anybody else. And I never saw any other family, really. So no one's bothered with me. Why should I bother with them? So now a couple of stepbrothers have come out of the woodwork. I said to my mum, and I say this about everybody that I've known and met and lost, including my sister, I am not interested in money or belongings. I'd rather have the person alive, thank you. My mum shouted a lot, I've gone deaf in my right ear, I've got a headache, and I came home to a barrage of dog barking. And when I went out last night in this Puma top and my jeans, there was dogs barking all over the place. And why did I put jeans on when it was boiling hot last night? Because that guy, her neighbour, had made me feel awful, and I just wanted to put trousers on. And on the radio this morning, all I've heard is vile, disgusting, vile, disgusting. My mum's neighbours went to Bournemouth, and my mum gave me a stick of rock from Bournemouth, and I can't eat it because of my teeth. Can't eat it unless I melt it down. Bournemouth strawberries and cream rock. I asked my mum, because her neighbour had made me feel awful, I asked my mum for a pair of trousers, and she was going to let me wear one of her size 20 pairs of jeans. An enormous pair of jeans. That's what she gave me to wear. I couldn't wear those, they'd fall off. I'm not my mother's stunt double. Right? I'm not happy. I'm not happy being alone. And my mum keeps saying, you're not Jennifer, are you? I'm Jennifer. You're not Jennifer. I go up there and that's all I get. You're not a 76-year-old lady, are you, Janessa? No, I'm not. I've got a bit of life left in me yet. I've got a nice personality, things in my flat I want to share, and I'm being treated like I'm an old unwanted lady. It's horrible. It's worse than being in prison. You're cast as this person nobody wants. I literally left there with earache and a headache. I came home in a taxi. He was an Indian driver. He was playing Indian music all the way from Durrell Gardens to Corey's Road. So I had Indian music in my ear. He was an old Asian man. Then the phone rang in the taxi, and the driver went, as he was speaking twice. He dropped me off round the back, didn't help me out with my bags, and, he didn't get a tip. Usually I have that nice foreign chap who opens the boot of his car, put my bags in. I had a rude Indian man. Because my mum had an Asian nurse called Ben that she had a disagreement with. So I was rudely treated inside the taxi, outside the taxi, got into my flat, and I couldn't have cared if all hell broke loose upstairs. I just kept my cool, kept myself together. I had a raging headache, absolutely awful banging headache. I walked Max out around the place, feeling terrible, but I didn't do anything bad because I'm a good person. I didn't get cross with anybody or anything because I'm not Jennifer and I haven't got a mental health illness. Apart from suffering from depression, from bullying and mistreatment from other people. See you later.